Dun 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 dun! It is day 30 at night. It is late at night. I had a really bad uh, travel schedule for doing these videos because it was really tough to get these last couple of videos up. But luckily, I am wrapping up right now, so it's better than if I had to take this trip earlier. Anyway, holy guacamole, this has been a fun and interesting challenge. I'm actually sitting in the bathtub at the hotel room right now because it's just a good seat where there's good lighting. So anyway, I want to do two things in this video. Number one, I want to tell you what I've learned and kind of review and wrap things up. And number two, I want to talk about integrating this concept of listening to the positive voice into other areas of my life. So first of all, what I have learned. I started this challenge with this mind map. I had the rules, I had some tips, and I would say that the tips, those are big. Those are definitely things that I have learned. And just to review, things that will help you to listen to the positive voice, in other words, be positive or feel positive, eating healthy food, which for me means more vegetables and less sugar, drinking lots of water, exercising where you sweat, you're breathing heavy, you do it 5 out of 7 days, you also do weight training, having good posture, the shoulders back, having the rest of your physiology be good, which means good facial expressions and a good amount of positive movement, getting excited and animated, intentionally being wild and crazy. Well, actually, if you intentionally be wild and crazy, you'll feel the effects for a while after you do it, and even if you feel stupid, just find some way to do it. Lowering your stress. Consider whether you're thinking about things in a healthy way, and are you being kind to yourself both physically and mentally? In other words, are you not pushing yourself too hard? And have you had a lot of stressful events or things that you need to counter with de-stressing activities, relaxing activities? For physical pain, foam rolling is huge. I have a whole video about it. Are you getting regular sleep and enough sleep? Are you meditating? For me, that's a big one. And I just talk a little bit about how, but also maybe doing some meditative activities that require a lot of focus on one thing, help clear your mind and help you have control over your thoughts. Are you doing your gratitude practice every day? Are you getting outside, sitting outside, exercising outside, playing, just even napping outside? And are you remembering that listening to the positive voice is a conscious choice you can make at any time? So continually remind yourself to feel the positive and act accordingly. Remember that the negative will sneak in lots of different ways, and you need to be diligent. And no matter what happens, you can make the best of it and learn from it. So things don't have to be good for you to listen to the positive voice. Then I also wrote down what causes me to listen to the negative voice. So worrying that things won't be okay, being really tired, eating unhealthy, and participating in things that evoke negative thoughts. So activities, arguing, gossip, complaining, or news or articles about problems. I talked about contrast because I realized that feeling the negative voice isn't a bad thing. And it's not bad if you're feeling negative. It's just, if it's not the state that you want to be in, then you can always listen to the positive voice. But remember that you're still going to have negative feelings, and that's fine, because it's kind of, I guess I would equate it to having some kind of pain. Maybe if going to the dentist is painful for you, or if getting a shot or a vaccine or a blood test or something is painful for you. Yeah, it hurts, but it's okay because you know it's going to be good for you. So that's kind of how I look at that. And then I just talked about a few things when I was defining what it meant to listen to the positive voice. It's feelings that are confident, assured, optimistic, light, uplifting, and supporting. And then the negative voice is pessimistic, overbearing, heavy, dark, anxious, gripping, constraining, concern I have or will made a mistake. And I will put victimized. I'll put victimized / helpless, because you can always do something. So if you're feeling that way, then that is definitely the negative voice. So listening to the positive voice is not about ignoring your feelings or real things that need to be dealt with, or just grinning and burying it, or burying things down that need to be dealt with, pretending everything's okay when it's not, or pretending you know everything, or presenting yourself as someone who can never lose. It's not about doing that. It's just about it's about acknowledging those things, but not letting them rule you and run your life. And how to listen when you don't want to, I have a checklist that's basically, are you following those tips about how to listen to the positive voice? And then remembering your why. Why are you doing this? And why is it important to you to listen to the positive voice? Because I think that that is a very powerful thing to remember. If I could just sum up without going through the list, but just talking about what this challenge has meant to me, I would say a couple of things that I have learned looking back on it are, number one, it's really easy to start something and it's a lot harder to stick with it. So when I want to change something in my life, I really need to make a dedicated commitment to actually making that change and realize that it is going to take a lot of work. Also, I did not do a lot of other stuff. I did set 2 videos a day as really ambitious, and I set that target for myself, and that was a challenge. But I do think that when you are trying to change direction in your life, either start doing something when something's been in motion or turn something around from the way that it's been going, it's going to take some focused effort to get that momentum going. So it's very possible that you won't be able to, everything else will basically be in maintenance mode while you're trying really hard to make a change. So that's an important thing to remember. Another thing to remember is, for me, I think it boils down to, I'm not always going to feel positively on my own. That's just not how my body is wired. But that is perfectly fine because it's a choice to listen to the positive voice, and I've learned that I can do it. It takes some effort, but all of these things are really important. And I have learned that it's hugely worthwhile to listen to the positive voice, because no matter what happens, I end up in a better situation in the long term if I do the thing that the positive voice is saying, even if that means swallowing my pride a little bit and giving in a time when I don't think I should, or if it means putting forth a little bit of extra effort in a time where I might just want to be lazy and not do the things that help me feel the positive voice. But if I do those things, then it really helps out. And yeah, I'm extremely grateful that I did this challenge. And now the only other thing that I wanted to talk about is integrating this into other things in my life. So I want to say integrating the positive voice into other activities. Specifically, what I mean is planning and goal setting. And the reason why I'm saying that is because all of the success books will say if you really want something, you need to get it very clear in your mind what you want, and then you need to sort of somewhat obsess about that and really, however you want to say it, but really have it front and center in your mind for a long time. But when you think about that thing, it needs to be from a positive standpoint. You need to have a positive mindset about it. I'm going to write positive thoughts about things you want. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I am so my most pressing, I guess my most glaring deficiency right now, at least where I am deficient in what I want in life, is around income. And that is because, well, okay, so anyway, that just reminded me of another thing about not thinking about being deficient in things and just being really grateful and having an abundance mindset. But I guess where the goal that I'm most on, that I have the furthest to go on the path, is around income. And when I think about that, I just get often I have a very dejected kind of feeling, and I just have a lot of doubts about my ability to earn as much income as I want in the way that I want to. I know I can earn income, but I worry constantly that I won't be able to be happy when I'm earning income, and that I will always have this sort of ceiling of how much I can earn. And honestly, that's the negative voice right there. That's a perfect example of a negative voice. And so that's really my next direction, is taking this positive voice challenge and applying it to something that I want, and thinking about the results and seeing myself having the results, but just doing so with the positive voice 100% in my mind, and not getting doubtful. And there's just so much self-doubt and everything. It's really hard to explain, but it's a very negative thing for me when I think about earning money, and it shouldn't be. So I think that is going to be the next challenge that I do. It'll be basically keeping up the positive voice, but then extending it into earning, setting up and knowing what I want to do, and then actually pursuing and doing what I want to do. So with that, that wraps up my 30-day challenge. I hope that some tidbit in this may have been useful for somebody. If not, at the very least, it was very useful for me, and hopefully there's a little bit of entertainment value in this. And so this is Joe the Dad signing off. Everybody have a fantastic day, morning, evening, night, and please remember to do rather than just read or think about, because it is in the doing that you actually learn. Everything else is just remembering or gathering knowledge, but not learning. So with that, have a great day.